Okie dokie. Thanks. You're listening to Mouth Dancing podcast, hosted by your host, Young. Because who else would host it except the host, right? Doesn't really make sense for someone who's not the host to host the podcast, if you know what I mean. What do you guys think of nuts and desserts? Like when they put nuts in cookies, or cake, or maybe some sort of a mousse or ice cream. Personally, I'm not a fan. In fact, I'm disgusted by it. It's like ruining the entire dessert. Like, imagine how perfect a chocolate cake would be. You know, you got a chocolate cake with nuts in it. Imagine how good that cake would be if you just took the nuts out of it. It would be the perfect cake, right? But then they just ruin it by putting nuts on it. It's like having, let's say you have a field full of flowers, right? And then here and there you just sprinkle like turds on it. It's like, why put the turds on there? Why not just leave the flowers alone? Just let them bloom like they are. I mean, I guess you could make the case that it's fertilizer, but I'm not talking about like fertilizer. I'm talking about just huge, piles of shit in a field of flowers. You wouldn't want that, right? It's basically what it is when you put nuts in a cookie, right? Why did they do that? Whose idea was this? I mean, you got walnuts, you got peanuts, got almonds, you got pecans. I don't know what else there is. I'm starting to sound like that character in Forrest Gump. You got boiled shrimp, you got fried shrimp, you got basted shrimp, you got baked shrimp. I was just listing all the different kinds of nuts that they put in desserts. But who actually enjoys desserts with nuts in them? There must be a lot of people who do because it's really popular. But nuts taste kind of like wood or sand, don't they? I don't mind eating nuts just themselves. Like a savory snack of some sort, right? Salty roasted nuts are pretty good on their own, but I don't like it when they put it in something sweet, like a dessert, like a chocolate chip cookie. Ooh, what about when they put it in ice cream, like Rocky Road? I think Rocky Road would be perfect without the nuts, if it was just chocolate ice cream and marshmallows. But then they gotta put the nuts in there for some reason, which makes it all gross. I don't know, generally I don't like mixing like smooth, sweet flavors like cake and ice cream with a rough, sort of sandy flavor like bark. Yeah, nuts taste kind of like you're eating like tree bark or something like that, right? Why would you put that in a cake? I just don't. What is the reasoning behind that? I think it can be good if the nuts are really processed, like peanut butter is really good in desserts. Like if it's really ground down into like a cream or like a liquid form. But when you just put a whole nut on there, it's like taking a bite of, what would you say? Something delicious, right? And then you put like a little pile of sand on there for some reason. Why would you ever do that? That's how I feel about it, actually. That's how strongly I feel about it. And this podcast is all about being against nuts and desserts. It's one of my main platforms here. I'm anti-nuts and desserts. And I'd like to maybe start some sort of a conflict or a debate or, just a war with people who like nuts and desserts. Maybe there could be like some sort of a rival podcast that is really into nuts and desserts. Like that's their whole thing. And then we just, battle it out. Speaking of cakes, a lot of birthday parties, pretty much all birthday parties, they're going to serve a cake, right? And then guess what's going to happen when they bring the cake out? Probably with candles lit on it. They're going to sing the happy birthday song, right? Does anyone else think that this song is overrated? I think it's too short. It's over in 10 seconds. It's so simplistic too. There's almost no lyrics. I don't think could you really say there's a chorus? It's all one sort of half-assed verse. There's no bridge or chorus or anything. It just, happy birthday to you. And then it's over. The person who wrote it should have put more thought into it, maybe added some instrumentation to it. I mean, you could add your own instrumentation, but they didn't really write it out as a fully realized piece of work. It's not I don't think you could really say it's a good song. It's just adequate. It's just so simplistic. It's like a children's nursery rhyme or something, But everyone loves it. Everyone sings it pretty much the world over, I think. Some version of it, right? Maybe in a different language. Who wrote the birthday song anyway? Who's the composer? Whoever it is, they need to have their name completely erased from history because of this abomination that they unleashed on humanity. And it's kind of an earworm too, isn't it? It's you hear it once and then it's just stuck in your head for weeks. You just go around singing the happy birthday song in your head. It's up there with the Macarena or Ray of Light by Madonna or some sort of 90s Cher song as being just an annoying earworm. It's catchy the first time you hear it, but then pretty much never want to hear it again after that, right? Do you ever hear someone describe a show as being free because of ads? I think you see this on YouTube a lot. They're like, this is free because of all the ads we show you. But it's not really free then, is it, if you have to watch ads? Because, it takes time to watch an ad. And also the ad is sending subliminal messages into your mind. So you might end up buying that product later. And if you spend money on the product, then you definitely didn't watch that show for free because you actually ended up spending money later because of it. Maybe you could totally forget that you saw the advertisement, right? It just flashed before you. And then next time you're in the supermarket, you're like, I think I'll try this brand of ice cream. And you don't even know why. Because you saw the advertisement for it. Also, advertisements, sometimes you want to click past them, right? Or tap past them or whatever. If you're watching it on your computer or your phone. That tapping, each time you tap or click, it's wearing down your equipment. And that costs money too. Each mouse click, you're bringing your mouse closer to its final days when it needs to be replaced. How many ads do you think you click on in 1 year? Maybe thousands to close them? And that adds up over time to the point where you're actually spending a lot of money on computer mice. And your smartphone screen wears down too if you're constantly tapping ads closed. And the speakers are getting worn out and the screen is getting worn out. So ads are not free at all. Watching them costs money in some way. You could say it's sort of indirectly, but it doesn't matter. It costs money. Everything costs money, right? And watching ads is costly. Don't let them, convince you otherwise. And that's why this podcast is ad-free. That's why you can listen to it uninterrupted and enjoy it, just as one complete piece of art, not getting interrupted constantly by some loud, blaring advertisement that's trying to sell you things. Thank you. And I thank you as well. And I hope you thank me as well, too. Now, you're welcome for this ad-free experience. And I'd like to thank you as well. And please keep welcoming me into your ears week after week. And I'll keep delivering these mellifluous podcasts to your hungry ears. See you next week. Bye.